to the Super T podcast show. So, um, this episode, although live, is just my voice, which brings me to the original days of podcasting, where it was just voice. It was very much like radio. But excuse me, with technology and all this goodness, we can, interact face to face without actually being face to face, which is a little strange and weird, but we could do it, right? Kudos to technology and the advancements of humanity. But I came on here today, this morning, um, right out of my conversation with divinity because I just wanted to vocalize certain things instead of just think them, or write them. Sometimes it's good just to vocalize things, right? So I'm gonna be me as always, transparent. You may get some candid ness in this broadcast here, but it is it, it's probably several reasons why I am in this particular space I'm in at this current moment. But nonetheless, this is the space I'm in, and I'm going to speak about it. Okay. So, first, I want to talk about my hands, and I want to talk about my arms, because my hands and my arms are like, they're amazing. Like, all parts of me is amazing, but especially my hands and arms because. Um, I didn't even realize like my legs were going through the process. They were going through before the injury, after the injury. I noticed, of course, but before I didn't know, because I got so used to just lifting myself up, lifting myself up, my arms, using my arms to do things, chores and things of that sort. Never really like worked out my arms, but because I always worked with my arms and with my hands, which is why even though I love to look at fancy nails, I don't do them often. Maybe like on a birthday, I might do my nails, but I don't do my nails because I use my hands a lot. And the feeling of breaking one of those nails, ooh, baby, it ain't a good feeling. So I've learned that a couple of few times, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna put all this money just to look fancy, and I know I gotta use these things a lot. You know what I'm saying? But they're not beat up, even though I use them a lot. They're still smooth and pretty and all of that good stuff. But the point that I'm making, well, that I'm getting to, um, is first of all, I appreciate my hands, I appreciate my arms. My arms, I feel like everything on me is proportionate. Now the legs may be realigning currently, and kudos to the really, really best physical therapist place. Like they're not award winning and best in the state for no reason. They are all the way, all of that. I've only been there a week, but when I tell you they work a sister, and they have everything you need. They have all the equipment. Only thing they're missing is like water therapy. If they had some water therapy in there where you could sit in a daggone jacuzzi or in a sauna or do a freaking cold plunge, if they put those in there, baby. My 2 hour sessions would turn into 4 hour sessions. They be like, Miss Bay, we closed. We are closed. I think they close at 8 o'clock, and I'm not gonna get off a turn, but I gotta be where I am, And oh man, they've been working the crap out of my legs. Yeah, they're working the crap out of my legs, but in a gentle way, but in an effective way. They put me to work, so I appreciate them a lot. Uh, Excuse me, there's gonna be random yawns because I've only been up for about an hour and it takes me a little bit to calibrate and everything. And speaking of up, the sun is right now like literally looking at me, but I gently woke up while the sun was rising, and it was the most beautiful, 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 beautiful sight ever. Only thing was, I can't even say the water was missing because there is water in between here and Manhattan, and I can see Manhattan where I'm at, but I can't see the water because I ain't that uh, high up. I'm only 4 floors up, but anyway, it was a beautiful sunrise. So I can tell today is going to be a beautiful day. And I did get some chores done around the house. I do intend to cook today, later though, because my legs still hurt a lot. Um, but I'm still moving. I'm still moving, so I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. So back to these arms, things are proportioned, you know, hips are being aligned and legs, and that's a process in of itself. But these arms of mine, I'm gonna get a bit poetic, maybe in tone right now. They're strong and they can reach certain things, you know. So I guess they're long. They're not too long. They're not longer than what they should be. They're appropriately long. But these arms of mine, even with their reach and with their strength, it's a little challenging to hug myself. It's a little challenging to hold myself. I could hold a pillow, I could hold someone else, but to wrap my own arms around my own body, that's a bit challenging. I don't really know how to do that, and I really don't want to know how to do that. What I really, really, really would like is to use my arms to hold uh, my significant other and to be held by my significant other. I think those two things would be pretty awesome. And that is something that really I feel um, deep into the soul of me. And I get filled with joy with the idea, of that occurring. And I get filled with joy in the presence and in the company of. And then, and then I'm here having this live broadcast expressing my inner thoughts um, to the world, but more so to the universe and to God. And that's why I came on here like right after my conversation with Divinity, because my conversation with Divinity was like, so what's good, And Divinity sometimes gives me prompts and things, and sometimes it's a back and forth. Like, I do surrender to divine directions. However, I feel like the relationship between me and the divine, my higher self, is good and secure and healthy, where even though I am aware that divinity has all of the answers, I still know that I have um, an opinion and I can voice my opinion, and we can, come to agreements. For real though, I know it may sound a little humorous, but at least to me, as I'm hearing it, like how you gonna surrender to the divine, but then in the same breath be like, but divine, I do got a mind of my own. And this how I would like it, divine, like, but this way's better, but divine. and have the arguing points, like my biggest point right now is my legs is aching, you know what I mean? I got an intuitive thought yesterday. Hey, why don't you go to this place? I was already in the house. And I know that I have this personality that gets along with folks, and you know, I love people. I love humanity. That's who I am. But another part of me is I like being in my own space. I like being in my own space, and I like being in spaces where it feels like home. I like those spaces. I'm not a fan of the crowds. I don't like be like, oh, it's a concert. I want to be there. I did like one concert and I really wasn't impressed because it was very crowded. And I know that seems odd because I reside in a big city, but I like space. I like space. I like suburbs. I like grass. I like woods. I like space. I love space, you know? So when I got that intuitive thought to leave, to leave out of my space, I was like, wait a minute, I already left out to go to class. And that was a challenge. Okay, but it was good because I have tests coming up next week. So I had to get, information so I'm prepared for these tests. Um, so that was okay. And it wasn't so crowded at the school. I don't know if everybody was tired. Not too many people came. Maybe not too many people have classes on Friday. Uh, well, I know it wasn't too crowded, and the weather was beautiful. So I sat outside. I have a little area that I like. Um, and I sat outside and I got some sun. And then I just came on in. And then I came in and I said, let me do some chores. I really didn't feel like it. But I said, I know I'm gonna appreciate it afterwards. So I took my time, got my sheets together, went downstairs, did my sheets, did my comforter, came back up, chit chatting with different people, talked with one sister, I sent a bunch of sisters a motivational post that I did yesterday. And one particular sister was like, what's this about? I can't even hear it. And I was like, you couldn't hear it. You must be at work. But she wasn't. In reality, she was home chilling. And how I know she was chilling, chilling. But she was extra talkative. I'm assuming she didn't share this with me. This is just an assumption, and assumptions are not always correct. But I'm assuming she had a glass of wine or two, okay? And she got on the phone and she was chatty to chatty with me, But it was good. It was a good conversation. She's actually, I don't know whether she's head of an organization or she's just a part of this organization, but she's part of, I know she is a part of it, but I don't know what her position is in the organization. But she invited me to their centennial celebration this year. I went to a few centennial celebrations this year. It was quite interesting because it seemed to be just random invites. But anyway, it was a good time. It was good people, and I felt a lot of love, and it was good. It was good to be amongst, and these centennial organizations or Black women centennial organizations. So again, very, very impactful to me and to experience it. It was just like, oh, okay, this is happening. I'm being invited to these spaces and places. Okay, okay, all right, okay. So, anyway, uh, after I talked with her, I talked with my home girl. I love this home girl. She a new home girl, but she's just um, so relatable because we've had similar challenges that we've overcome, and I'm more out of those challenges, when I say more, like longer, I've been out of those challenges longer. She's in the process of doing those things now. And, I get to share information and, you know what I'm saying? And just let her know, like, it does get better. Like, I know how it feels right away, and and I had extra stuff right away, like when I finally got away from my ex-husband when I was 26. I was 26 years old. Was I 26? No, I was 25 when I got away, and I think I was 26. I might have been 26. I was 26. I can't imagine. My son is that age now. I had lived so much already, and he has lived a lot too, but still, it's different when you have the dynamic of family in the midst, because I had two small children going through the different challenges I was going through with my ex husband. God rest his soul, because he's not on the planet no more. But he was very much still on the planet then, and um, I got safe away, and then a year after I reached out to different agencies. Safe Horizons is a good agency for domestic violence survivors, and they were supportive. I just wish my young, stubborn self, was more receptive to their advice because they were advising me to go into the shelter, and they were like, "We will help you get a place," and I was like, well, why am I going into the shelter when I have this one bedroom apartment? After I left my freaking 3 bedroom home in Pennsylvania, I'm like, I got this one bedroom. I'm okay. I don't need housing. Let somebody who needs housing. But it was like they foreseen, the lady that was particularly helping me. She was like, just come into the shelter, it'll be better. You'll get a better place. But I didn't listen. I stayed in the apartment until a tragedy happened in the apartment, which was my youngest child going into a diabetic coma, and she wasn't even freaking diagnosed with diabetes. So that trauma, not even say after, on top of the trauma of packing up and leaving a whole bunch of stuff and getting safe and thinking of all the time that I spent trying to make something that was toxic work, um, and the things that I dealt with and not accepted, but the things that just occurred, that I endured, that happened, the things that my children endured and witnessed, and a lot of those things my son still is overcoming, you know what I mean? Because he was there from day one. My son was the first person, that was there. My son was here before my ex-husband, was here, because my ex-husband was the father of my daughter, not of my son. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And I remember, and I here I am now. It's been over 15 years. It's been over 15 years. It's been over 15 years for my daughter passing. So she passed a year after I got away. So I still was grieving. I still was grieving. And even though the divorce was finalized and that part was complete, still the healing part was nowhere near complete. And in the midst of me beginning to heal, it was like life said, pop, 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 pop. Like, fired shots at my soul. Like, oh shoot, and I had to get through that stuff, so I know divinity is real. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. People try to give me their perspective of divinity, and I literally just intuitively went within, and I did intuitive things like go to the beach and just lay on the sand and just lay in the sun, go to the park and just get on the grass. And there was a sister named Tanya. There is a sister named Tanya Rivera. She's still around. And, she would play healing bowls. This is before, these things was even popular. They're popular now, but this is before these things were popular. Just I found healers to be around, and I went into nature and I went within, and I really, 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 really connected consciously to divinity, because that was the only thing that propelled me forward. Like otherwise, I would have just been trying to do it on my own, and I know I couldn't. Like I just know I couldn't. I just know I couldn't. And then I was motivated to singing more, and music became my therapy. Music became my therapy. I would do it every week. I would go and I would sing and I would feel great. And that's how I dealt with healing. That's how I dealt with my grief. And in the midst of all of that, I had to fight. In the midst of all that, I had to fight. And I didn't have to fight individuals, I had to fight corporate agencies, and didn't have no high powered attorney. I just was connected with people with knowledge. And I just had the fortitude to stand up and to keep going, and in light of every challenge they put before me, and in light of all of the things that happen in the midst of the fights, because things happen to me in the midst of the fights, but more so things happen to my son in the midst of those fights, and those, I would describe these things as tug of wars, because they already had classified me as an unwanted orphan. And even though I was past orphan age, because they had record of me being orphan, they was like, yeah, nobody is not gonna come to her aid, not realizing, hey, maybe nobody physically is gonna come to my assistance, but the divine is there for me, like, and I couldn't even articulate that at that point, but that's the reality of me getting through those experiences and being victorious, and my son getting through those experiences and him being victorious, so it's that's all divinity, yeah, there was no mom, no uncles, no dad, nobody to be like, what you doing? No, you ain't gonna do this. No, it wasn't none of that. I was the one that was saying, you ain't gonna do that. There was nobody that was saying that for me. But even me saying that in regards to my son, in regards to those agencies that I battled with, um, it it was all divinity working through me, and it's all divinity that got both of us where we are. Because even though we're still healing, even though it's been decades, because his path his path was was a lot different, than my path. I started healing then and there. He's just starting to heal. I want to say, him taking his healing, I'm going to say maybe 3 years. He's been very serious about his healing, and overcoming the different things that he's been exposed to. And, you know, um, it's been tough. It's been challenging, but he's amazing. I seen him this week. He's in a relationship. This motherfucker's in a goddamn relationship. But I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Young love is so simple. They don't give a crap hootenanny about the daggone rules. They're like, I love you. He's like, I love you too. And they're just figuring it out. They're figuring it out, and they're okay. They're okay, and I know he's okay because I could see him. Like I'm his mom, I could tell. So it's good. It feels good as a mom when you see your child, and your child is being loved on, and your child is putting forth efforts. Like he showed me his homework, and it was a whole bunch of hundreds and tests, and I was like, you should take this test. And he was like, I should take this test before that test. Yeah, this is a test, because he's going for his GED, And I guess I don't know what they're doing with the GEDs now, but I guess they have it split up where you take one test at a time, one part of the test at a time. When I took it, I took everything in one sitting, but I guess they do it different now. So I'm like, yeah, take the parts that you're good at and that you're passing. Excuse me for yawning again, but I'm like, yeah, take the parts that you're good at, take the parts that you're passing because those are your strong parts. He's like, I don't know, I don't feel confident enough. I'm like, just do it, like, just do it, just do it, you know. But he's doing good. He's doing good. He's doing well. I'll be super excited once he's in college, you know, because I know what college he going to. Even though he may not, he may go to Hudson because he likes culinary. But he likes culinary and he's good with culinary, but he is excellent with debating. I'm like Mr. Esquire. Don't debate me. Like I'm your mother and you have a compelling argument over nothing. It was over pineapple soda. It was the most hilarious thing ever to me because he was so serious. You know, him and his girlfriend had a disagreement and he's like trying to figure out how to repair and come back from the disagreement. And I'm like, you know, he's like, maybe I could buy her favorite thing. Like he tells me this is her favorite thing, and I'm like, that's a good idea. You know, it makes sense. It's within your budget. I know you want to do something grander, but you know your budget's snug right now, so that's a good idea. And I try to explain to him like how we think, you know, because we think and we operate different from guys. We don't need fucking grand gestures. Grand gestures are awesome. If you can do it, go for it. And if you're sincere about the grand gesture, then okay. But we don't need grand motherfucking gestures. Especially we care about you. Like you just have to show us you care the fuck back. And it can be something fucking simple like buying our favorite fucking soda. That is okay. And I was explaining that to him, but I was explaining it to him, my son, while he was emotional. And it's a little challenging communicating effectively with men while they are emotional. Now, not everyone is like that, but just the normal ones, or just normally, just based on the normal chemistry of their brains, it's challenging because even though I was saying it, he wasn't hearing nothing. And I question myself a lot of times because I'd be talking straight English, and it's not just my son, you know, but to just men in general, and sometimes they just do not hear the clear English that's coming out of my mouth. You know, they misinterpret it all the way. They misinterpret my actions, and I'm just like, what the what the heck? And now I gotta figure out why they misinterpreting and then still try to communicate effective. This is too much. This is too much. This is why women be with women. This is why. This is why. Not saying that they don't have their challenges, but come on now. Come on. Come on. We should at the very least be able to communicate. But that's when you are when you are what I have found out is when you're communicating with a healthy masculine, it's different. Now, yes, they get emotional too, and yes, sometimes they may not hear you in the moment, but if they if they are if they have a level of intelligence to be still um recording what the fuck you're saying in their mind, they'll think about it later and they'll be able to be like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, um okay, this is what she was trying to say, you know. Or if they're not emotional in the moment, you know, they can hear you clearer. But yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky, man. Communicating with guys is fucking tricky as hell. You know, I don't know. I'm learning and growing in that area because I didn't have the opportunity to get a lot of experience in that area with healthy um, masculine, you know, and it's different communicating with healthy masculine men versus healing masculine men. Um, I think healing is better than toxic, and you know, healing is a better terminology to use. So I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say it like that. But yeah, um, this broadcast is just me expressing and vocalizing again that it's a little bit challenging to hold myself physically with these arms of mine, even though these arms of mine are wonderful and they're strong and they're long enough to hold another person, but it's a little tricky to wrap my arms around me, and to hold me. It's not the same. So it would be nice, and not just. I get offers all the freaking time. I even got an offer from a freaking nephew, not an actual nephew, okay, because I don't have no actual siblings. But I got an offer from a dude that I've known since they were a freaking teenager, who I'm pretty sure is around the age of my son. And they send me a daggone message in my DMs like, when you gonna let me take you out for drinks and to eat? And I'm like, if you don't cut it out, what you been sipping on? I'm like your auntie. Like, I'm cool with your mama. You don't ask your mama friends when you even though I'm probably more cool with the mama than the mama is with me. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because I moved away, and any type of friendship takes effort on both parts. So, this lady, we was cool. I've been to her house. We just had drinks. I done went to barbecues and stuff. And I thought she could see me, but then, and I don't know whether she was just being, what's the word I'm looking for? Defensive, like, well, it's just a natural thing. But I don't know. So it was something I asked her for or whatever, and like she wasn't gonna be there, but I was under the impression that me and her were cool enough for me to ask her this question, which is why I asked her. And then she was like, I ain't gonna be home and you ain't gonna go over there where I'm not there. And I was just like, me? Like me? And then I hate to say this. Please, God, but I gotta say it. It's my podcast. Oh, ma'am, you what? I like you as a person, ma'am. You know, understand what I'm saying? I appreciated the family as as the people that they are, and as family. You know what I'm saying? But the way she responded to me was like, not if I'm not there. And it was like, oh, I mean, okay. It wasn't like I was trying to stay there. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was I don't know what, I forget what it was. It might have been even to use the daggone bathroom. I don't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? I called her because I was in the neighborhood, and if you know me, I don't like to use public bathrooms. I don't know what it was. I don't remember what it was, but the response was like, "You ain't gonna be around my man," and I was like, ma'am, um, uh, uh, you talking about that short, fat motherfucker?" I'm sorry. Like, ma'am, that is like, sisters, they ain't cute. No. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. What? What? I was so, and I'm not superficial, but like, come on now. Like, they ain't even cute. They not fine, cute, nothing. And they like family. What? And I was just like, okay, that when I realized where a person's mindset is towards life, I fall back, you know. So maybe that's why the distance happened with the friendship. Maybe not just because I physically moved, but because when she gave me that type of energy, I was just like, yeah, no, thank you. Like, I don't know what you even thought, but okay, no, you know, I'm not looking at anybody in your household like that. And for her son, who was about the age of my son, to be like, when you go, let me take, like, what? Why would you even, why? Why would you even fix your mouth and your thought around that? I don't care. If you feel that I'm physically attractive, keep that shit to your fucking self because I'm your auntie. Like, there's boundaries. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Is this what we doing in the world today? Because if this is what we're doing in the world today, if we are just ignoring fucking boundaries, okay? if we are ignoring boundaries, I would like to say I have something to fucking say, okay? Not to y'all motherfuckers. But to this motherfucker, to this was one in particular. I hate to call him a motherfucker, but sometimes I call him a motherfucker. Most of the times I'm calling this one person in particularly endearing things. But sometimes the ebonics come out and I'll be like, this motherfucker right here. This motherfucker right here. Because I like I never had a motherfucker to get on my motherfucking nerves, right? Without it, don't even be. Sometimes he tries to do it. Sometimes I feel like he just wants to see, like, let's see if she's gonna get angry. Let's see how she's gonna respond and shit. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's a weird song and dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I describe this experience? We had an experience where he asked me to do something and I did it, you know what I'm saying? It is something that he didn't have to ask me to do, but he asked me to do it and I did it, right? And I just knew that he was being funny, you know, and but I didn't say nothing. Like I just knew it. I don't know how I knew it. I just intuitively knew it. And I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna play the fuck along, right? So I do it and I'm like, I'm good. My spirits is up or whatever like that. And I had to interact with somebody else to accomplish this thing. So I'm interacting with the person and I'm cool again, however I feel about whatever is that's me, and that ain't nobody's business. But people tell me shit all the freaking time, involuntarily. People volunteer information to me all the freaking time. I be quiet. Perfect example. I'm gonna get back to him, but perfect example. I'm inside of the supermarket yesterday. My phone. I forget that my phone is even low in battery. My homegirl, she's dropping off my umbrella, right? I'm in the car with her, and I want to spend some time with her. You know what I mean? That's the truth about it. I want to spend some time with her because if I didn't, I would have just got my umbrella and left. But I like her, I like her. I could talk to her. She could talk to me. We get each other. You know what I'm saying? Like that's big for me because a lot of people don't be getting me. They act like they don't motherfucking get me at least, or they don't appreciate how the fuck I is and just take me as the fuck I am. And if I'm too much for you, then okay, that's all right. You don't have to be next to me. It's okay. Like that's it. But anyway, I ain't gonna go to all the details. We get to the supermarket, right? Now, we were talking on the phone before she even got here. You know what I'm saying? Which is why my phone was going down, right? Whatever. I'm in the supermarket. We talking on the phone in the supermarket. In the middle of the conversation, the phone goes down. This is an issue for me. Several reasons. Not just because I was talking to my homegirl, and now I don't have no way to communicate with her and she's outside, but because I need my phone on to unlock my card so that I could pay for my purchase. So I'm like, oh, okay, somebody in this store has a charger. So I go to the customer service. Nope, they got only an iPhone charger. Okay, cool. I see a sister on the side. I'm like, you have a C charger? She like, She's like, you know what? Let me check my car. She go all the way to her car and get her charger, and I wait for her patiently. And another sister tell me to go ask somebody else. I guess she just didn't feel comfortable with me standing there because the person she told me to ask, he didn't want to be bothered. And I still had to ultimately wait for the other sister. And it's so funny because the registers ain't no lines. It was like all the registers was open, but I couldn't go to any of the fucking registers because my phone was down and off, and I freaking had to charge it in order to unlock my card so that I could make the purchase. So anyway, I'm telling you all these details. I don't know why. It just is what it is. I notice every freaking thing. But anyway, the sister comes back with the charger. I'm charging my phone, and she tells me about her whole day. And I love it though. Like, I don't mind. I don't mind people volunteering me information. It is just a consistent part of my life. I don't be saying anything. Sometimes I engage and I do share, but I be silent most of the time, and then people just start talking to me type shit, and I just start talking back to them, like, that's how it goes. So, anyway, back to him. So, I'm doing this task, right, and I'm like, oh, I don't even like when they tell me what the task is. I'm like, and again, intuitively, I'm like, this is going to require some muscle. Not only is it going to require some muscle, it required some leg movement. And we already know the condition of my legs. However, I'm not upset with moving them because I know moving these legs is what's making them better. So, okay, cool. So even though I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? This is maybe not an easy thing, but it's just something that I could do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, fuck it. And it's something that's ultimately good for me. So fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do it. So, but I take my time doing it. Here's the funny part. Wait. I'm taking my time doing it, right? Here's the funny part. While I'm taking my time doing it, this motherfucker is right behind me. Like, this motherfucker is right behind me. Like, not right behind me, but like, I walk out, this motherfucker walks right out like 2 minutes afterwards, and like, it just doing nothing. Just walking around and just watching my motherfucking ass. Really, he's not doing nothing. He's making it seem like he's doing motherfucking nothing, but he's watching my motherfucking ass. I'm over here talking to these people. He over there talking to those people that's right over there, and I'm just like, this motherfucker right here. But I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Cool with it. This is my own internal because I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see this motherfucker. So anyway, though, I'm taking my time. I take care of some business on my way to take care of this task, because I know it's not an urgent task. I know. He made it seem like it was urgent. He put urgency in his tone, but I knew. My intuition told me this is not an urgent task. Okay. And sure enough, when I show up to meet with the person I had to meet with to complete the task, they're like, do you know they volunteer this information to me? Okay. I don't ask them nothing. All I see is all they tell me is this might be heavy. And I was like, I had already peeped a device that could assist me so that it wouldn't be heavy. And I already looked and saw that the device was available. It was a cart. And I was like, can I use that? And they was like, is anything in it? And I was like, nope. Nothing significant. It was a piece of paper. Shit, you take the piece of paper on the side, and when I come back, I'm gonna put that piece of paper right back. Fuck, it wasn't no significant. It wasn't like it was heavy stuff inside of there that I had to take out. And then, you know what I'm saying? No, it was just a piece of paper. So when they asked me anything in it, nope. And so this person volunteered to me. You know how long I've been telling this person to come do this task? Confirmation of my intuition that this was not an urgent task. Confirmation. Confirmation. Confirmation, sir. Confirmation. So I was right. So because this is not something that was urgent, even though you try to put urgency in your tone. Why you try to put urgency in your tone to me? Like why? Just to see how I was gonna respond and stuff like that. So anyway, I do the task, right? And I told you he left. He left. Because he followed me out to that good thing. But I started moving. I don't know if I started, if he see me moving or what. All I knew is that I got back to the location that I left from before he got back to the daggone location. And I don't know, maybe he expected I was gonna be sitting there, but I wasn't. I parked that motherfucking cart there just to see, cause you see it how I'm moving. I'm seeing how you moving too. And that motherfucker didn't even push the cart in there. He gonna walk past the cart. I said, okay, okay. Okay. Let's see what type of time he on. I see what type of he's on. I'm gonna annoy her time. And maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe it was a bit intentional because again, um, I feel like this motherfucker is just trying to see like how I'm moving type shit. You know, not see how I'm moving. They already know like certain shit about me, you know, because I have shared certain shit, you know, with them. But I've also I feel have exercised extremely a lot of emotional intelligence, you know. Here's the thing. I shared this way that I'm feeling, and you have responded with, okay, there's a boundary, and I have respected the boundary, and I do respect the boundary. So what's good? What you watching me for? What you watching me for, motherfucker? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's really good? What's really good? Like what you doing? Like, and I know he moves like like an individual that like a good friend of mine. I must call this person. It's I know he moves like him. I know they move similarly because they are in um they're in these authoritative positions as black men, you know, so they have to move and navigate a certain way, you know what I mean, in society, in this society, you know what I mean. But things are changing so rapidly, and so I get that they gotta move a certain way, but you gotta move certain ways with certain people, you know. And I get you have to analyze a person and see, you know, really how is this person operating to formulate, I guess, a hypothesis of an individual, you know. And guess that's a way of getting to know certain things about an individual. Um, but do you really get to know an individual by analyzing how they maneuver in public forums? You get to know certain things. You get to know characteristics if you're paying close enough attention. You know, you get to know those things. But like, there's those. Hmm. It's so many dynamics, so many complexities. The older the fuck you get, it is because you gotta. It's so many fucking moving parts, and it's just like, oh, it's supposed to be simple. It is not supposed to be this motherfucking complicated. simple. That's like that 33-year-old that approached me last Saturday when he was like, "Why are you single? Why are you? Why are you?" It was like, "Oh, you got children? Oh, well, it was simple then, right?" I was like, "Yeah, it was simple, but then it wasn't it wasn't well thought out. I love my son. I loved my daughter. I love being a mom. I love being a wife, but I didn't choose the right people to do these things with, and it caused complications that I could have avoided if I would have been more older and more prepared to choose better. So I get the complexities but still, like it's a lot. It's a lot. But he made a good point because he was like, "That's simple. You like them, they liked you, and boom." I was like, "Yeah, but you need to put more thought into creating a fucking family. You need to put more thought. We got to be more than, oh, it's chemistry. You look good. I look good. All right. We like each other. It got to be more than that, baby." And I get that now. And I appreciate that I get that now. And it just makes the process, I guess, more lengthier, I suppose. I don't really like a lot of motherfuckers. I really don't. Like you got to be really special. You can look good on the outside. I might like your physical aspects, but like you, this motherfucker that I'm calling a motherfucker. Oh, I'm in a bit deep, people, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know. It feels most of the time good to be in this deep. But then it's scary. Then I'm like, my logic goes into overdrive sometimes, and it's like, girl, if you don't stop yourself, like stop right now, exit. Exit those feelings. And I'm like, "Eh, it don't really work like that. Doesn't really work like that. What I'm supposed to do? Be in denial? Like, no, I don't care. I don't care." And the moment I feel anybody is bothering that motherfucker or trying to fuck with that motherfucker, I be like, leave this motherfucker the fuck alone. Leave him alone. Don't you start bullshitting, you motherfuckers, with him. Leave him the fuck alone. And I'm like, oh, like I caught myself doing that because I had a little attitude. I had a little attitude after that whole um, let me see how she gonna respond type thing. And I was just like, whatever. The task was completed, wasn't it? So that's how I'm gonna respond, motherfucker, because I give a fuck. If I did give a fuck, I would have just like this the fuck appeared. I just would have left. I just would have been like, "Oh, farewell, sorry, I'm gone." But I give a fuck, so I completed the task. I'm there, I'm around, and there's a lot of again moving parts, and these other people come in, and I could just tell off the vibe. They just, they play their parts. I don't know whether they're happy with the parts they play, but they play their parts, and sometimes they try to um, bullshit, like, and I hear them bullshit, and they like, "Oh, ABC," and my motherfucker is like, yeah, ABC is this, like, this is correct. And they're like, ABC ain't correct. And my motherfucker is like, it is correct. Look at the shit. And they're like, I'm looking at it and it says, and my motherfucker's like, nah, I know this shit is correct, motherfuckers. Look at this shit again. And the motherfucker's like, "Oh, yeah, you right." And I'm like, these bitch ass motherfuckers. You just trying to fuck with them just for no fucking reason, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck? The fuck out of here. and I was compelled to stay. I was compelled to stay, but I had to go. I had to go. But I still, when I left, I was like, "You gonna be alright? The fuck you doing? You know what the fuck you doing? You all right? I'm gonna send you some good thoughts. I'm gonna send you some good energy. I know how to, you know." And I understand I'm some good energy and shit. He be needing good energy because he be dealing with a whole bunch of different. So I be sending him some good energy, and I don't mind. I don't mind. Like is I enjoy it. But hello. I am naturally a giver, but I am also a receiver, and so that's why I needed to vocalize the fact that my arms are not long enough to hold me. They're not long enough to embrace myself. My arms are not long enough for that. So hopefully this broadcast uh, has brought clarity, because I'm clear. I'm really clear, but I'm also respectful of the boundaries that have been established by um, that motherfucker. At this point, whoever's listening to this shit is like, which motherfucker is which motherfucker? She said motherfucker a lot. Is she talking about the same motherfucker or different motherfuckers? We don't even motherfucking know. Oh shit. Oh shit. I am gonna do this comedy shit. I promise you, I'm gonna do it because I'm good at it. But when the time is right, I thought it was gonna be September 19th, but that was not the right time. So I don't know when the right time is gonna be. Uh, I'm gonna grab a few of my homegirls though, and we gonna go do the shit, and hopefully before this year is out, type shit. But yeah. If you got lost in the sauce, it's okay. It wasn't meant for you to get. The purpose of this broadcast was for me to ventilate. And just in case the motherfucker that I'm talking about, I will say even put I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say my motherfucker. I don't know if that's appropriate or not. But I'm gonna say it any motherfucker way. If my motherfucker happens to listen to this shit, I think that I know. I don't even think I know that they will be able to follow and be able to dissect and to be able to get every point that I have made during this broadcast, and we shall see what their response is. Their response is just gonna be like, "Oh, got her. Let's see what I can get her to do," or their response is gonna be, "Okay, I hear you. I'm gonna do my best to communicate with you back so that we know what the fuck is, um just so that we know, you know what I mean? Communicate back, and are you gonna acknowledge? Are you going to hear? Are you going to address? Because please don't let the address be patient. Don't let that address be patient. Like, find a way. Find a motherfucking way, okay? I don't care if it's a, well, I don't know. I don't even know if hugs are something we can do. Hugs is something we have done before, but it was different before. I was guarded before. I was like, okay, shoulder, you know. But I don't feel like I'm guarded anymore, to that extent. I feel the very opposite of guardedness when it comes to physical touch. I feel yeah, I don't, I feel like she, this is my podcast, right? Can I say that? yeah, I feel like I touch everywhere. Everywhere. Every forehead, cheek, head, sir, everywhere. Behind the knees, to the toes, from the head to the toe. Where at? Where at? Just, yep, that's it. And I also feel this, and then they know they're very smart. They're very smart. The last hug that I got, I know when the last hug I got. The last hug I got was during an event, and it was a half a hug. It was a half a hug. hmm It was a half a hug. I said, "Oh, they smart. They smart. They know to pull in half, get a half, because they know if they came in front ways, you come in front ways, and I'm coming all the way in. I'm not doing the shoulders. You know the shoulder hug, right? Somebody goes to hug you, and you just lean in with your shoulders. Yeah, nope. I'm coming all the way in, all the way. So yeah, that's why they haven't hugged me, but." Recently, but they could still hug me recently. Like, okay, you're not holding me. You're hugging me. It's different, right? Kind of, sort of. I don't know. Here I am, and and you know what's so ironic? I did get like hugs this week. I got hugs, but hugs from other people is not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. I appreciate the hugs I got from the people that this week. I do. I do. They were wonderful. I was happy. I'm appreciative of it. It's not the same as a hug from my motherfucker. Woo! I almost said more. I almost said more. I almost said more. I almost said more, but I'm gonna not say the rest of that. Well, fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I am. Let's get back to my jingle. It's not the same as a hug from my motherfucker. Who needs to be fucking this mother? This. I said this mother. No. That's the end of my jingle. That's the end of my jingle. That's the end of my podcast. I'm gonna get up and I don't know, watch some Saturday cartoons and entertain myself and uh try to put my mind outside of my body right now because ooh, the moon is waxing, and along with the waxing of the moon, the moon be controlling tides of Mother Earth. You know that, right? It influences oceans, right? It influences water. We know this, right? That's a fact that the moon influences oceans on the earth, waters. I don't know how. We just know that there's a connection, right? So it's just logical that if the moon magnetism is affecting the tides of the earth, that the beings that are 70% water may possibly also be affected by the magnetism of the moon. It is quite possible, okay? It is quite possible that that is a fact. And all I can say is I am doing my very best to elegantly express the feelings in my body right now. So, I think that I have expressed enough. I have vocalized enough. So we shall see holiday unfolds, we shall see what is drawn to me. Because I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be right in this motherfucking house. I ain't going out of goddamn nowhere. I'll be right here. I got everything I need right here. I got clean water. I got some food. I got entertainment. I can control my climate. If it gets too hot, I can put on the AC. If it gets too cold, I can put on the heat. Like, I am good. So, it would be nice. I just want to say this before I end this broadcast. It would be nice for my motherfucker to share this space with me. That would be so fucking awesome. Because then I could just communicate straight to my motherfucker. Like, vocally, vocally. They communicate back to me vocally. And then guess what? I could just use my podcast platform for what it's meant to do. And that's inspire people. I don't have to be talking about my motherfucker here. Like, I could just talk straight to my motherfucker. My motherfucker would talk straight to me. We could just be looking. That's like right there, here, right here, there. We could just be like that. That could be instead of me on this motherfucking broadcast, like, we at? Yes, I do have the digits, right? But, it may not be appropriate for me to use the digits for that. So, I gotta respect, just hey, motherfucker created the wow. I respect the wow. That's what he made. He said, listen, this is not the place, this is in. Guess what? I have this circumstance. I have this thing that I've been doing for a while, and I know this thing is not working no more, and I'm in the process of adjusting and removing myself from this thing. But until I'm officially removed, I just want to do things right. And I'm like, fuck the official shit. Like, I see what it is. I see what it is. I know what it is. Like, what the fuck? I'm gonna get off because now I'm gonna get mad. I'm leaving. I'm gonna get